Sorry, family, if you happen to be seeing this. Sorry, YouTube, because I know the video just started. But I have to start this video by saying, what in the fuck is this camera quality from MMA Che, bro? This dude here, bro. Hey, bro, I love reactors, do this videos. These videos are always great. How you doing? How's your mama? How's your family? Hope they're doing great. I'm doing well. The reality of Islam versus Ilia Topuria by MMA Che. We just reacted to a video talking about Charles Oliveira's chance and what he has to do to beat Ilia Topuria. Go check that one out. But this is the one. I think this would be one of the greatest fights ever. I don't think it happens because Islam is tired of fighting a little guy, brother. I tired to give opportunity, brother. I need my second belt, brother. This is for legacy, brother. But this fight would be what McGregor and Khabib should have been. But sit back. I'm gonna react to this like only I can do. Without further ado, take it away. MMA
Sure,
Che.
UFC 308 was pretty gut-wrenching. You know, I'll be honest, I thought about moving to Alaska and becoming an Eskimo after. I thought about just frankly ending it all, but if there is one motto I choose to live my life by, it is there's nothing a bunch of stimulants can't fix. So now that I'm feeling all happy and carefree and joyful, I think it's time to ask the very fair question. Can anybody stop Ilia Topuria? I mean, can anybody do
know.
it? As of right now,
I don't fucking know. I don't think he loses until he fights a Islam Makhachev, and damn. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a Charles Oliveira, but Oliveira would have to be perfect over the course of 25 minutes. We talked about that in the last video. You have to go watch that one out. It's a great video. Dude, I don't know. It's tough.
People don't believe any featherweight stands a chance, and that's for good reason. I mean, Ilia just knocked out Volkanovski and Max Holloway back-to-back.
Greatest chin ever.
Greatest featherweights to ever do it. But, I mean, whether or not that's true is a video for another day. I do think there are some interesting contenders at featherweight, but let's be real. The fight everybody wants to see is Ilia Topuria versus Islam.
Maybe Diego Lopez if he lands first, because Diego Lopez has big boy power, but that's it.
Makhachev. That is the fight to make. Now, look, is the UFC going to make this fight? I mean, I don't know. They should, but they may not. I mean, regardless, though, it's a very, very intriguing matchup. I mean, starting off here, if there is one objective thing we can all agree on about Ilia Topuria, if there's one thing we've learned about him throughout his career, it's that no matter who you are, no matter what your background is, no matter what your skill set is, you cannot stand in the pocket and box with this guy. You cannot do it. It's a death sentence. If you're going to be throwing any punches, they need to be from your range. You need to time it as counters off of his punches. Then you need to either be kicking or trying to wrestle him. Those are your options. Now, is Islam capable of any of these three things? Well, again, he knocked out Alexander Volkanovski with a head kick that he set up beautifully. But here's the thing, right? Ilia Topuria, when you look at his guard, he is so insanely difficult to land kicks against.
Yeah, he got to be straight kicks.
He can protect everywhere from the top of his head to his torso so well with his guard, and not everybody can do this. Alexander Volkanovski couldn't. He cannot protect his head and his body at the same time. So when Islam fought him the second time, he immediately started opening up the fight with either teeps or round kicks, and Volkanovski had to keep switching from protecting his head to protecting his body, and that is what allowed the head kick to slide just over his knuckles and knock him out. But, I mean, you look at Ilia right here. There is nowhere for a kick to land. I mean, it is just not there. The only way you can set up a head kick against him is if you time it in the middle of his combination. That is exactly what Jai Herbert did. Ilia throws the right hand, Jai blocks it. And as Ilia is loading up the left hook, Jai sneaks the kick in perfectly right in between. Now, point is, the way that Islam set up that high kick against Volkanovski just will not work here. It requires a lot more precise timing and distance management. Now, does Islam have good timing, and does he have...
I think Islam one of the best strikers in the world.
Good distance...
Eve Online. In a universe with
management. Well, yes. Yeah, he absolutely does. Islam is, I would say, one of the most risk-adverse fighters, I mean, I've ever seen. You know, again,
She's
you look
so
at
hard
the
to hit,
Alexander
too.
Volkanovski fight. Volk has never been known for having devastating power. He's never been known for knocking guys out with one single shot. But even then, Islam was very, very respectful of Volk's striking. Every single time that Volk tried to step in, Islam would always circle away. He would always be moving. And what he was doing, every single time he evaded Volkanovski, he was just looking to build timings. He was looking to build reads. And he was trying to get Volkanovski to overextend. And every single time he did so, Islam was ready to crack him. And, you know, when you look at when Ilia fought Volkanovski and just recently Max Holloway, there were many moments that Ilia was overextending on shots, and Max and Volk were evading on the outside. And Max Holloway in particular was doing a good job at slipping Ilia strikes and then coming in and landing some of his own punches, exactly like Islam did to Volkanovski. Now, here is the big thing, though. Ilia was not overextending and leaving himself nearly as open as Volk did in this instance, for one. And two, Ilia, he's not trying to win on rounds against you. I mean,
he knows if he touches that chin, it's nighty-night. I got 25 minutes, too. I don't give a damn if I'm overextending. You're going to have to make me pay for it. You're going to have to knock me out. Because if I'm still standing and I'm still throwing and I still got breath in my lungs, we going to throw them bitches. And, yeah, if I land, it's nighty-night.
Really care about getting tagged here. He cares about landing one big shot in the perfect moment.
To close your lights.
That's all he's looking to do.
Turn your fucking
frankly,
lights off.
He doesn't really care to be giving up shots like this because his entire game plan is to eventually knock you out, which he's really, really good at. And again, you know, there are moments when Islam fought Volkanovski that he did kind of get stationary. He would try to cover up, and Volkanovski was able to sneak punches.
Islam would have to shoot,
I mean, look at this sequence right here. It's very, very slight.
Would have to shoot,
but Islam covers up. Volk lands right around the guard, and Islam actually got wobbled here very, very briefly. And I mean, look, this is where it starts getting real scary for somebody like Islam, because you cannot give Ilia any opportunity like this. I mean, you just cannot do it. It's not about how hard he hits. You know, he does hit very,
but he
very
throws them
hard,
perfect.
but
He
it's
throws
the
the punches
accuracy.
perfect.
It doesn't matter who you are. If he tags you right on the chin, you're going to get knocked out no matter who you are. So, while, look, of course, we can expect Islam to try to stay on his bike, to constantly be moving, and he's going to do everything he can to avoid standing in the pocket with Ilia. We know that. But clearly, based on some of these examples, that's not going to quite be good enough. He needs other opportunities to stuff the boxing. And, of course, that's when we begin to look at the grappling. Now, of course, the first thing about Islam, he loves the tie clinch. You know, absolutely loves it. He used it against Volk a lot and against Dustin Poirier. He'd go all the way in, grab the tie clinch, and from there, he loves landing knees. And the problem is, if you're an opponent against him, he is just waiting for you to throw a knee of your own so we can either foot sweep you or throw you. I mean, he did this to Arman, did this to Charles Oliveira, and that's why typically you can't knee him back in this position. But Ilia Topuria does something very different here when you grab a tie clinch on him. He just fucking starts ripping to the body. And, you know, he did this to Volkanovski. Volk really didn't like this. And Dustin Poirier himself would do this a lot. Every time Islam grabbed the tie clinch, Dustin was looking to land the dirty boxing, those short uppercuts right through the middle, or he would just start ripping to the body. And look, Ilia Topuria, with the amount of power he has, and with 4-ounce gloves, I mean, that's the big difference maker here. You really do not want to be eating these shots. I think Islam honestly would want to avoid this. We talked about this in the Volkanovski game plan breakdown against Ilia that I did a little while back, that you want to either be all the way out or all the way in against somebody with the style of Ilia. And Volkanovski one time did this really, really well, where as soon as Ilia tried to open up with punches, Volk went all the way in, clinched up with an underhook. I mean, I think that's going to be the difference maker here. The tie clinch, that's not going to work because he's going to be ripping punches, but you want to do more of a 50-50 clinch, one underhook, one overhook. That is what someone like Islam in theory should want to do here. And look, if there's one thing we know about Khabib's camp, they are really good at game planning, and I think they should see this and they should notice this. You either, again, want to be all the way out or all the way in, but the tie clinch is dangerous against Ilia, so you need at least one underhook. At least one. That's really going to negate the body shots. And someone like Islam, I mean, I imagine this is what he's going to be looking to do. But can he take Ilia down? I mean,
Yes.
that I think is going to be the only real way he stays safe. Is
He'll
if he
take
can
him down.
consistently
I don't know
take
how
down.
often or how successful he'll be. Let's not be silly. Ilia hasn't fought a wrestler or a grappler near the level of Islam Makhachev, but
Ilia.
he'll be able to take him
And
down.
honestly, I don't think it's super.
You know you want a burger, so make it my Smash Jack. Rated the best burger in fast food. It's even got more beef than a Big Mac. Chin up.
After this
Ronald.
recording
Maybe you'll
session,
get a
what's crazy
participation
is
trophy.
I keep saying in every video that you're seeing for like the next 3-4 days that I'm gonna buy YouTube Premium, but I'm dead serious. After this recording session, I'm going to go buy YouTube Premium, and this won't
My
happen
Smash
anymore.
Jack, now on sourdough.
I promise,
Welcome to Talking About.
because it is actually getting ridiculous.
And how are the numbers
But
looking?
guess what, guys?
We're landing
I'm not
at a strong
editing this
70.
shit out.
That's
So
fair.
I'm like, the fuck
More
out of
likely,
here,
I
with this
have to
shit,
be
brother.
honest. You know,
You see, you've been seeing the same
possible
shirt for like the
Islam
last.
round 4
I don't know which video this is in rotation, but
timed up.
you gonna see this video for a total about this shirt for about 10 videos, gang. You know what I'm saying? We working, we doing a lot of things, so we recording a lot at one time, right?
Fucking beautiful double leg. Right as Volk was
Double leg.
blitzing in, timed it so well, got him down right in the middle and allowed him to take Volk's back. But look, I think we learned from the Dustin Poirier fight in particular that Islam isn't the best wrestler out in the open. You know, he's very competent in that area. Very competent. Don't get me wrong, but that's not his skill set. Again, you know, Khabib, he never tried to take Dustin down out in the open. It had to be up against the fence. But, you know, against somebody like Ilia, how can you pressure him to the fence with the amount of danger he provides in the boxing? I think, you know, Islam is going to have to try to shoot out in the open. And the problem is, you look at the Bryce Mitchell fight. And look, Bryce Mitchell, of course, I wouldn't say
Bryce
he's
Mitchell,
the same
man.
level as Islam when it comes to all-around
think
grappling,
he's
but
that
just
great of a
straight up
wrestler.
shooting out in the open, pure wrestling. I think they're comparable. And Ilia Topuria showed in that fight to be a fucking bitch to take down. He was so ready to sprawl on Bryce's shot.
Different though, because with Bryce, you know he's got to shoot, or he's not beating you. It's different. Like look,
Down. He
like
was
look. Ilia's like, come on, bro. You know, Islam can beat you striking. You have to respect Islam striking. You don't have to do that for Bryce Mitchell. So it's different. I think you'd be more ready for a Bryce Mitchell shot. And that sucks because good striking makes your wrestling better and good wrestling makes your striking better. It benefits each other. Not for Bryce Mitchell though, because he's not that great of a wrestler. Even though that's all he could do. So yeah, he's a wrestler. And I'm not saying he's not bad. He's not a bad wrestler. No, he can go out there, he secure takedowns. He's very heavy on top. He has really good BJJ. But it's like, no striking. So against a guy who's like, I'm a better striker than you, I know you have to take me down to beat me, I'll be ready. It's not the same.
was so ready to sprawl on Bryce's shots. Even during
he's
moments
not as
where
fast
Bryce
of a
was timing it
He's not as fast. Like, he can't really get deep in on it.
really well.
Like
Ducked
Islam.
right underneath Ilia's punch, but he still got sprawled on. It's going to be tough to deal with. Now, Bryce Mitchell did hit one takedown successfully against Ilia, but it came when Ilia was just kind of not respecting Bryce. He was moving forward. Bryce was kind of starting to jab, and Ilia was just starting to bob and weave, and he kind of ran into the takedown. But apart from that, it was really difficult for Bryce to get deep on anything. And here's the thing, right? Islam being so much taller is going to make it, honestly, a lot harder for him to get low on these shots and actually get to Ilia's hips. Again, Dustin Poirier, he was able to get in on single legs because they're much closer to the same size. And even then, honestly, Islam, if they weren't up against the fence, had trouble completing takedowns. Well, now you got somebody in Ilia who is going to be really difficult to pressure to the fence. Because
That's true.
if you just walk at Ilia and try
He'll
to get
stand
him to
his
back
ground
up,
and
again,
unload.
you're risking getting cleaned by just a ridiculously accurate, powerful shot. So I think shooting on Ilia is going to be really, really hard. And honestly, look, I think that's probably not the path to victory for Islam. I think his game plan for a match like this needs to be constantly stay on his bike, constantly move. The only time you're
Now
throwing
he's gotta
punches is if they're off of counters when
If he doesn't shoot, he's
Ilia
getting
misses.
KO'd.
And
gotta
apart
shoot.
from that, when Ilia steps in, you gotta clinch, grab an underhook, and try to look for trips. Just try to manhandle him there. Ilia is going to be the bigger, stronger guy. But, you know, again, what is so scary about this matchup is Ilia is just looking for one moment to land a shot clean. One moment. Max Holloway did an amazing job moving and staying out of danger for the first 2 rounds until he made the one mistake of getting just a little too stationary and then getting cracked. And it's like, well, you know, Islam was doing everything in his power to avoid getting hit by Volkanovski. He was taking that fight so safe, and there were still moments he got tagged clean, and you can't give that to Ilia. So honestly, I mean, that is what this matchup comes down to, is can Islam stay safe all 5 rounds? Look, I think he has a path to victory. I think he has the tools to do so. And, you know, being the bigger, larger guy, I do think he should be the favorite going into this matchup, but you're just never safe against somebody like Ilia. And again, Islam, just like Max Holloway, just like Volkanovski before him, he's got to stay safe for all 5 rounds. He has to find a way to do that. And so far, Ilia, against every single person he's fought, has found the moments to get in the pocket and land his shots. And that's the only way Islam can win, if he avoids all of it. Which, look, put a gun to my head, I'm going to pick Islam to win. But, again, it's so scary
Not
fighting Ilia
comfortably.
Topuria.
It's the most comfortably. Let me know what you guys think. Who's winning versus Ilia Topuria or Islam Makhachev? What advantages does Islam have, and what advantages does Ilia have? And don't just say boxing and wrestling. Get a little in depth if you can. Like, comment, subscribe. Help with the algorithm, why don't you? You ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of here, man. Yate.